Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this custom Rainbow Dash Shadow Bolt figure. Rainbow Dash wore this Shadow Bolt costume during the Festival of Nightmare Night in Season 2, Episode 4 of the My Little Pony TV series. I painted on her Shadow Bolt costume and sculpted her mane, tail, and shades from clay. Once her mane and tail has been removed, cover her ears, muzzle, and wings with masking tape. Now insert the pen into where the tail used to be. This makes the painting process so much easier, so please guys, no dirty comments. Let's start by painting the legs and chest area with a thin layer of yellow. Now let the paint air dry. This will need a few more layers of yellow and the paint will need to be air dried after each layer. So I went ahead and painted on 3 more layers of yellow. Then I cut out small strips of tape to make this zigzag pattern. I forgot to paint the back and side of her neck yellow, so when you're painting the chest, don't forget to paint these areas as well. I'm going to let this dry and then paint on 3 more layers. After the paint dried, I applied small strips of tape to form the collar of her costume. Now let's paint on the purple part of her costume. Paint on a thin layer of purple. The first layer doesn't need to be perfect. So I went ahead and painted on 2 more layers of purple. Now let's paint the head and the rest of the body black. Since black is a very dark color, I'll probably only need 2 layers. So I've painted on one more layer of black. Now let the paint dry completely before taking off the tape. The outline of the yellow zigzags and the collar turned out a bit ragged because some of the black and purple paint have seeped under the tape, but no worries, it can be fixed. So I've fixed this side of the costume. The outlines are more straight and defined now compared to the other side. I've also fixed the collar, around this wing, this ear, and her muzzle. Now I'm going to show you how to fix those areas. Let's start with the ear. It's best to use a fine tip detailing brush like this one. Carefully paint around the ear to create a smooth outline. Now let's work on the zigzag pattern. Just carefully paint on straight lines. After straightening the outlines, I painted on these gray lines. I'm not exactly sure what they're supposed to be, but I'm guessing that they're staples that Rainbow Dash used to attach these yellow patterns to the costume. I've also painted some on the inner part of her legs. Now I'm gonna do the legs on this side and the collar. Use a pencil to mark where you want to paint the staples. To get this medium gray color, I mixed dark gray with a little bit of light gray. After all the painting is done and completely dried, protect the paint by applying a paint sealer. I'm gonna apply a thin layer of Varathane gloss to only the costume. This will give the costume a shiny appearance. If you don't want her costume to be shiny, you can use a matte sealer. The sealer has dried, and as you can see, her costume has this nice glossy appearance. I forgot about her cutie mark, So after the varnish dried, I painted on the cutie mark and then applied a thin layer of sealer on it. This isn't the actual Shadowball cutie mark. Rainbow Dash probably made this costume herself for the Nightmare Night Festival, so I'm guessing it was most likely drawn on by her. I've sculpted Rainbow Dash's tail from Sculpey clay. This has already been baked in the oven, so it's very firm. This is the mane that goes on top of her head. And this is the other part of her mane. These are her shades. The frame was made from regular clay and the lenses are made from glow-in-the-dark clay. And this piece goes above her muzzle connecting the frames. Now let's paint the mane. I'm going to start with this spring green color. This brush is really good for lining and painting small areas. I've painted the front and the back with 3 layers of green. For the next part, I'm going to use this cool blue color. Just outline the area and then fill in the middle. So about 3 layers of blue is good enough. For the last color, I'm going to use this purple iris color. Now let's paint the tail. I use color pencils to mark where I want to paint each color. Let's start with the purple since I have some left in the palette. Alright, I've painted the rest of the tail the same way with 3 layers of each color. I've also painted the top part of her mane. And also her shades. I didn't paint the lenses yellow because if I do, the clay won't glow in the dark. If you don't want her lenses to glow in the dark, then you can use regular white clay and paint them yellow. Now let's apply matte sealer to her mane and tail to protect the paint. I'm using matte instead of gloss because I don't want her mane and tail to be shiny like her costume. You can use whichever you prefer. Don't worry if you see a white cast. The sealer will be clear once it dries. It's easier to superglue the tail to the body before applying the sealer. Hold the tail in position for at least a minute. After the glue has completely dried, apply a thin layer of paint sealer. I really like how Rainbow Dash turned out. The superglue works very well. I've glued on her mane and shades as well. I really wanted to show you her eyes glowing in the dark, but when I turned off the lights, it was too dark on camera to make out the glowing eyes. Well, if you enjoyed this video and want me to do more custom ponies, let me know by clicking on the like button or leaving a comment below. Thanks for watching!